any questions while we're waiting?
They poured in the second the display opened.
Yeah, get those.
A celebration of video games through the years. And they definitely came to play. But where they're playing is what's unexpected. The Smithsonian American Art Museum.
You could say video games are a great grassroots expression of culture and, in some cases, art in our democracy.
And museum director Betsy Brune says the video game exhibit, the first ever at a major American museum, has caused so much excitement it will travel to 10 other cities, illustrating a growing understanding of the public fascination with the games.
One time a single game was offered for sale and sold 6 million copies in one day. You know, that's more people than go to the Met in a year. So when you begin to understand how pervasive it is, I guess the bigger question is, why did we wait so long?
Indeed, when you look at some of the images, they can resemble moving paintings. From abstract to figurative, to landscapes. There's one reminiscent of Japanese woodcuts, and another that's been compared to an M.C. Escher work. But fans say it's not just how video games look that makes them works of art, but also how they engage the imagination and stimulate players to think about what moves to make.
Video games, by their nature, by their interactive nature, can help us find connection with deeper questions that we may have inside of ourselves.
Longtime game developer Chris Melisinos curated the show.
There has never been another form of expressive media that has captured multiple generations as quickly as video games have.
The exhibit begins with 1970s and 80s action-adventure games like Pitfall, Combat, Space Invaders. And surely you remember Pac-Man from 1981, in which a yellow dot with a mouth tries to eat or be eaten by ghosts. It was an international sensation.
I'm a big fan of this game, but I'll tell you something. When I was playing it, I never thought that I was engaging in art.
But Melisinos says the artistry here was in Pac-Man's becoming one of the first games to appeal to women, who now represent 40% of gamers. Released just a few years later, in 1985, Super Mario Bros. Introduced a much more complex world and a video hero as players manipulated Mario to find and rescue a princess.
There were many studies that showed that he was more popular as a character in the minds of young Americans than even Santa Claus.
The Super Mario series evolved over the years with more complex graphics and scenarios. And because technology is such an important factor in the games, the exhibit showcases some of the playing devices used during 4 decades.
Mayday! Mayday! Mayday!
But along with better technology comes better ways to do battle, which has sometimes led to controversy.
There has been criticism of video games as a very violent medium. What do you say to that?
We live in a world where not including some of that would be unrealistic. But really, I think you'll find in these games a deeper message.
In fact, games like 2010's Heavy Rain, which explores the boundaries of parental love,
Jason, no!
do aim to touch our emotions. And if there's one thing this exhibit illustrates, it's that for video game creators, the journey is just beginning.
We're able to create worlds and environments that just don't exist in the real world. It's boundless, it's limitless, and that is definitely part of the attraction.